still just as bitter as ever. There's such a great new spin of complaints here. Here's one from her most recent episode, which still on YouTube, she's got like 200,000 subscribers. It's really amazing that now she's been doing this for how many episodes? She's been literally on every podcast of the left wing promoting it. And that's still all she's managed to get. Here she is interviewing.
I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving. You know, this is how arrogant Joy Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so narcissistic, they think this is persuasive.
This was never supposed to go public, but Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk just turned Michelle Obama's day into a full-blown PR crisis on live TV. 1 minute she was shining like royalty, the next, boom, blindsided with verbal attacks and a whirlwind of constitutional chaos. You won't believe what Charlie said about Michelle's legacy, or how Megyn's criticism hit extreme levels. From brutal remarks to uncomfortable truths, this was more than just criticism, it was a gold medal-worthy roast. And yes, the internet is completely freaking out. Stick around, it only gets messy.
She went on a podcast called Diary of a CEO. It's kind of rings a bell like a founder kind of situation. And once again, wants you to know how awful it is to be married with children.
There are just many natural reasons why marriage, infertility, trying to have kids makes things difficult. It's like I try to tell couples, of course it's hard. Just listen to what I said, right? Like, it's probably, if you're having some issues in your marriage, it's not you, it's the process of marriage.
Michelle Obama says, until recently, I've mourned the dimming of that hope. And maybe you've experienced the same feelings. Is that a pit in my stomach? A palpable sense of dread about the future? Now, look, Michelle Obama has well-documented anxiety problems. And it's very interesting. When they are not in control of political power, they get anxiety.
Michelle Obama once said, "When they go low, we go high." Yet she chose the most questionable moment to launch a podcast, publish another book, and plaster her face everywhere like it's a Black Friday sale in the self-promotion aisle. Because if there's anything more predictable than a Kardashian makeover, it's Michelle Obama subtly acting like she hasn't been quietly gearing up for a presidential run since 2017, doing everything short of slapping a "Vote Michelle" sticker on her yoga mat.
I mean, this audience knows she never says anything positive. It is all complaints. So she goes on another podcast. She's promoting her show, so she's making the rounds. The Diary of a CEO podcast, and actually found a way to bitch and moan about how hard it is to live in the White House.
When you walk through a storm, keep your head held high.
Meanwhile, in a particularly noisy corner of the internet, Megyn Kelly was sharpening her sarcasm like a weapon, and Charlie Kirk was, well, being Charlie Kirk, a guy who resembles a stock image titled "Confused by Politics," and speaks like he downed an entire PragerU video in one gulp.
Michelle Obama, listen to this.
And at this phase of my life, I'm in therapy right now because I'm transitioning. You know, I'm 60 years old. I've finished a really hard thing in my life with my family intact. I'm an empty nester. My girls are in, you know, they've been launched. And now for the first time, as I've said before, every choice that I'm making is completely mine. I now don't have the excuse of, well, my kids need this or my husband needs that or the country needs that. So how do I think about this next phase?
Once again, speaking a reference to her time as First Lady negatively, and I'm transitioning. I mean, an interesting choice of words given how the internet refers to her.
Now, Michelle Obama isn't running for president, allegedly. She's supposedly not engaging in any political campaigning either. Supposedly. She just so happens to be headlining arena tours, landing documentary deals, dropping Netflix specials, and releasing books with titles like The Light We Carry, because subtlety is long gone, buried beneath a stack of ghost-written autobiographies. She's out here beaming like a monarch returning from exile while claiming she's just a regular private citizen. And Beyoncé is just a neighborhood singer from Houston.
And it's very interesting. When they are not in control of political power, they get anxiety. And being at the DNC, this for them is church. For them, this was a religious experience.
Till recently, I have mourned the dimming of that hope. And maybe you've experienced the same feelings, that deep pit in my stomach, a palpable sense of dread about the future.
It's so dark. And now she's saying, now I have hope because of Kamala Harris. The apocalyptic undertones of the Democrat Party is dramatic.
And Kelly didn't waste a second. She came out swinging like someone who'd been counting the days for the Saint Michelle image to finally crack. Let's be real, it's not that difficult when the Obamas spent 8 years selling the idea that arugula, cafeteria makeovers, and surprise dance sessions were the backbone of national security. Remember when Michelle turned your school lunchroom into a quinoa gulag? Kids went from Pizza Fridays to kale-induced trauma in under 2 months. Childhood basically ended with one government-approved celery stick.
Listen to her talking about her 8 years in the White House. SOT 27.
So I'm at this stage in life where I have to define my life on my terms for the first time. So what are those terms? And going to therapy just to work all that out. Like, what happened that 8 years that we were in the White House? What did that do to me?
Yes.
Internally, my soul, we made it through. We got out alive. I hope we made the country proud. My girls, thank God, are whole. But what happened to me?
Oh my God. The utter privilege and how out of touch this person is.
Charlie Kirk, never one to pass up a chance in the spotlight, jumped in with the kind of commentary that makes you wonder if he's secretly brewing hot takes in some underground lab. According to him, Michelle Obama's entire public image is a long-game operation prepping the nation for the Obama's grand return. He's convinced every sweater she wears is a signal, every speech a teaser, and every podcast episode a trial run for political re-entry. And honestly, he might not be entirely wrong. When someone claims they're uninterested in politics but manages to dominate every media platform like an influencer fueled by Red Bull, it starts to raise eyebrows. Michelle's most impressive move might be convincing half the country she's too classy for politics while treating it like her weekend side gig. She talks unity, yet suddenly drops jabs at conservatives with the poise of a pulpit sermon and the subtle sting of a group chat from your ex. She's not just selling motivation, she's repackaging it, marketing it, and rolling it out across 4 formats with a Hulu tie-in. At this rate, we'll be lighting Michelle Obama-scented candles called Hope and Eucalyptus by next year.
One side note on Michelle Obama, can we just note how overrated she is? And like all the hype around Michelle Obama, oh, she's going to run for office, and she's just, I don't want to get into the aesthetics of all of it, but the presentation of her...
And the media eats it up. Every time Michelle even exhales near a microphone, 1,000 reporters swoon like it's 2008 all over again. They treat her casual Target trips like international peacekeeping missions. Meanwhile, if Melania Trump steps out wearing sunglasses, she's either plotting a rebellion or phoning home to outer space. Megyn Kelly isn't buying any of it. To her, Michelle Obama is just another media-crafted icon, sculpted out of polished soundbites and recycled nostalgia. And honestly, she's not entirely off base. For someone who claims to dislike politics, Michelle sure seems hooked on the standing ovations that come with hovering near it. She says she's done with the White House, but her schedule paints a different picture. Every appearance feels like a victory lap, every interview a subtle political jab wrapped in warmth and cardigans. Charlie Kirk, ever the political sleuth, claims Michelle's playing 5D chess while the rest of us are stuck on Candyland. According to him, her feel-good lifestyle tour is actually a soft launch for a 2028 campaign. And while that may sound far-fetched, let's not forget this is the same country that elected a reality show host after watching him fire people on TV for 10 years. Stranger things have happened, like that brief moment Michelle made Brussels sprouts trendy. But credit where it's due, Michelle Obama has turned wellness into a weapon. She took self-care, turned it into a TED Talk, tossed in some tears, and built a full-blown empire. Her brand is basically a kale smoothie mixed with Beyoncé lyrics and dusted with Oprah's stamp of approval. She makes average look elite. You eat your emotions, Michelle cashes in on hers with a podcast deal and a 7-figure book advance.
Two of them together, I haven't even counted her husband's riches. They're definitely billionaires by now. The house in Martha's Vineyard, which is, I think, $20 million out on the yachts of David. What happened to me? Why doesn't anyone think about what happened to me during my... I'm enraged. I'm almost speechless at how ridiculous...
Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly isn't buying it. She's seen the Michelle hype train roll by before, and she's not interested in hopping on board. She's the kid pointing out the emperor has no clothes, or in this case, that Michelle has a stylist, a speechwriter, and a slick PR machine spinning faster than a fidget spinner at a middle school talent show. Let's not forget Michelle Obama's memoirs. Yes, plural, because her story is apparently too big to fit in just one book. Next up, Becoming Even More, followed by Becoming Forever, and eventually Becoming the Presidency You Deserve. Each will come with a deluxe boxed set, including a reusable tote, a scented candle, and a QR code for a 10-minute guided meditation narrated by Barack. And while Michelle talks about hope, Megyn calls it hype. She points out you can't preach humility while cashing $500,000 speaking fees and then complain that America worships celebrities. That's like eating an entire cake and then criticizing others for their sugar intake. Michelle's game plan is simple. Never say what you really mean, and never mean what you say. Just smile, hug a kid, mention hope, and disappear in a cloud of lavender-scented virtue. And the crowd goes wild, because if there's one thing Americans love more than a celebrity, it's a celebrity who acts like they're not one. Michelle isn't just America's darling. She's America's strategic silence wrapped in Spanx and charm.